Okay, so let's just... Well, I guess we don't really need to check out the mission here, but we know where we're going. We're hopping in... Not there. Here? Here, yes. We're hunting down some Rachni. Let's make it happen. Okay, so we're expecting, I imagine, probably more Rachni like we ran into in the previous planet that we were checking out, so that means, I mean, we were using Rex last time, I believe, and he was quite effective because he has the biotics for a little bit of crowd control, though we perhaps, didn't focus quite as much on the biotic abilities with him as we did with other people, but it's a combination of that and just generally being really tanky and having all that health regeneration, so that when the Rachni deal damage that ignores his shields, he's really good at healing through that. So he's really good in that sense. I think that probably means we do want to take him. I think we use Liara as our second person, and she's really good for the crowd control, although she may have died at least once, because she's definitely on the squishier side. She has a fair bit of shields, but again, against Rachni, that's basically completely irrelevant. So if we wanted to go all-out tank, we could get Ashley as our second person, but then we'd be a little bit light on the crowd control, which could be a little tough. Kane would give us a lot of crowd control as well, basically similar, along the same lines as Liara. Garrus, I don't think he's the answer. He's a little bit squishy, because we just didn't focus on the survivability with him, just went for maximizing weapon damage, which is not really what we're looking for here, I don't think. And Tally probably doesn't make a lot of sense either, because he's best against synthetic enemies. So, first question is, tank or crowd control? Because Rex gives us a little bit of both, but which one do we want to prioritize here? And if we do go crowd control, then do we have a preference between Liara or Caden? I think... We, of course, do provide some crowd control as well. Why don't we try going Ashley? I'm not sure we've used this combo very much, to tell you the truth. It's one that I think we've talked about once or twice early on, and it is probably our tankiest combo, so it's interesting in that regard. But I don't think we've gotten a chance to actually put it in action. Because both these characters, have a ton of life regeneration. I think we prioritized a little bit more with Rex than we did with Ashley. But let's take a look. I think it's been a little while since we last used Ashley. Yeah, she has 2 points to spend here. And I can't exactly say I recall what it was we were focusing on with her. So give her advanced shield boost for 1 more point. I mean, it's not super relevant at the moment. There's a chance we were going for advanced adrenaline burst? No, I feel like there's a chance it was just soldier for more life regeneration, which that would be quite relevant, and health as well. Yeah, it's either that or to get closer to advanced adrenaline burst and take some weapon damage, melee damage along the way. It's not bad, but I don't think melee damage... Weapon damage is not that bad, but I think the melee damage is not really something that we're prioritizing all that much. Damage reduction, hardening is... And again, goes along the lines of tankiness, but at least in this case, not quite as relevant. And then I think we were just putting a few points in pistols to unlock shotguns, so we didn't really have any intention of going further there. So I feel like we do go with Soldier. She gets 5 health regeneration per second. She's on 541 HP. I'm curious how that compares to Rex. Rex has the tiniest bit more HP. And 5 health regeneration for both of them, actually? It might be. I think it is. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I mean. 2 very tanky characters. I think it's been a while since we had Ashley, like I said, though, and so she may very well have some new and improved gear we can throw on. I'm focusing on the armor first and foremost, though. Well, so the thing is, we know that the shields are more or less irrelevant. Not that there's a huge shields difference here. Primarily just a tech biotic difference, but pure damage protection, this would be better. I mean, it's 2 levels higher, but it's a much less prestigious manufacturer. So, I mean, we might even do that, especially because since it is a high enough level to give her a second upgrade slot, that means we can throw in something else. This was definitely not what we had for her. It was a blade of coating. Only level 6, though. We should be able to do better than that. That's not so relevant here, I don't think. Let's see what we can give her. Better damage protection? Yeah. I think if we just load up on ridiculous damage protection, then she might become more or less unkillable. I mean, she already has both Rex and Ashley have the immunity ability, which is another reason why they're just ridiculously hard to take down. Definitely not going to go with the shields. Might just go with that damage protection. See if there's anything else that jumps out. Oh, we should do this. Definitely do this. For a little bit more regeneration, some toxin resistance, that's pretty important. In fact, we might have used one of our better rounds of that on Liara, and she probably still has that upgrade on at the moment, but so be it, I guess. Just make sure that Ashley has good weapons as well. Yeah, because this is basically just a much better version of her existing sniper rifle. So let's do that. Not sure the sniper's going to be terribly relevant on this occasion, but just in case. Stabilizers I don't think are super important. Another rail extension to just make that a ridiculously hard-hitting sniper rifle. Pistol not super important for her. Then shotgun is, though. Shotgun is, and this is just a one level higher version of the same thing that she currently has, so that's probably what we're going to go with. Unless anything else jumps out here. Now they're all level 7 as we start going down there. So yeah, let's definitely do this. And assault rifle, only level 6, and that's not even a very good manufacturer that she has. So I'm actually surprised that this level 8 one, even though it's an even worse manufacturer, is not better. But that's definitely an improvement. I think that is going to be better than the Thunder. I think this is our best one. Double check. Same amount of damage, but better heatsink capacity and accuracy than... significantly better accuracy than that. That one's a little tempting. It is a level 7, so I think that technically speaking, from a total stat standpoint, it is probably worse. I mean, that heatsink capacity is significantly worse, and that is relevant for an assault rifle. So I think we probably stick with what we have now, but she does have room for another spot here. Let's see. Stability is relevant for an assault rifle for sure, because that just means you have the accuracy, even when you're continuing to hold down the fire button, which I think is still relevant, even though it's obviously a CPU who is controlling the aiming there. Yeah, and I think, well, just gonna say, I mean, we've obviously had Rex here recently, but I don't recall whether we were paying much attention to his weapons. Not that sniper rifle matters at all. But, yeah, okay. I think in that case, we should be in good shape here. Let's take a look at our map. And we know next to nothing. Next to nothing. We have a listening post. That's all we know. It is on the opposite side here. So, take your pick. Clockwise, counterclockwise. I feel like, let's go clockwise maybe, see what we run into here. We are near the northernmost section of the map. So that is kind of helpful, just from a traversal standpoint. Makes it a little bit easier to make up our minds, I suppose. Yeah, that is a little alarming. I mean, basically every other time, in fact, might even be every other time we have been on an uncharted world, we've at least seen 2 things on our mini-map at the beginning. So this is, I think, the most we have been going in blind to a planet thus far, at least from a knowing where things are standpoint. Here's some debris, it looks like. So that's a start. Can't really see. Is it this pyramid-like thing? No, it's looks like a crash probe, maybe? Yep, that's exactly what it is. This is pretty flat around here. So, I mean, this could even be a Thresher Maw trap, although, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Let's, first of all, get it. Just didn't quite line up the way I wanted it to there. Kinda just expecting floodgates to open, kind of like this. Okay, let's see. High explosive has typically been the grenade upgrade we've used, and high explosive rounds. Now, this might be the first time we've seen these. They are interesting. They are extremely interesting. Let's take a look. So, let's see. Who is this going to be most relevant for? Who might we actually want to put this on? Probably Ashley, I would think. Technically speaking, should probably be whoever has the highest damage weapon, and Ashley and Rex are tied. But Ashley has more weapons to swap between, which is going to be relevant for reasons you are about to see, because high explosive rounds, I do think this is the first time we've gotten them. So, designed to detonate on impact, high explosive rounds have one major drawback: a massive increase in weapon overheating. So it actually gives you area of effect on your normal weapon. And with a shotgun in particular, that seems like that could be a nice fit, but it gives you plus 500% heat generation, which means oftentimes you are going to shoot once and your weapon is going to instantly overheat. So it's kind of a, one shot, hope you take care of whatever you need to take care of. Otherwise, you're going to need to switch weapons before you can fire again. And that's why having Ashley use it, I think, is probably best, because as a soldier, she is training for every type of weapon, so she's the most capable of making do with weapons other than her shotgun if her shotgun overheats. But it also has weapon force, knocking people down or away, and 500% is huge. And then damage as well. That's not the biggest damage number, but that is somewhat significant. And that's only level 8 explosive rounds, and of course, all upgrades can go up to 10. So, in theory, we might find some better versions of that later on. But that is a very interesting one. So if we could, you could make the case that heat absorption is not super relevant, because no matter what, she's still going to overheat after shooting just one shot. Maybe if you load up like crazy, you could make it so that she could fire 2 before her weapon overheats, but I'm not so certain about that. So you could basically go one of two directions. You could say, alright, load up on heat absorption and try to make it so that she can shoot twice before her weapon overheats. That's one path. The other path would be saying, forget about it, no matter what we do, her weapon is always going to overheat after firing one round, and might as well make that one round as impactful as possible, in which case, rather than focusing on the heat absorption, you focus on the damage. So, well, that being said, I've said several times that we have so many weapon stability upgrades and so few rail extensions, which is usually the go-to for increasing damage. That would be the way to try to maximize the damage, but we don't seem to have any of those. So let's throw on one heatsink, and then, also, heatsink is, again, one of our few non-weapon stability upgrades, so a little reluctant to just throw some away on a shotgun that might overheat no matter what. So I don't love it, but at least the heatsink component, but this could be a very, very interesting setup for her. I'm gonna say, while we're at it, I want to put the shotgun as her go-to weapon here. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, let's carry on. And so, we can check our map, but it's not exactly going to be all that informative. So I think we're just going to do what we usually do, and go along the edge of the map. We run into something, we'll check it out. If not, then we'll just keep on moving, and we'll start with the perimeter, and then we'll start moving inward. Just try to cover as much ground as we can. Eventually, of course, we will end up getting to the one spot that we know does exist. And that one spot is, of course, the place where the quest we're trying to do here will end up being, presumably. But that's on... Oh, hold on. Ah, now this looks familiar. You recognize what those are? I hope you do. If not, you're about to get a reminder. I'm surprised we see red dots here already. So I think on the previous planet we were on, red dots did not show up until we were right up next to these things. Because it kind of gives it away. And there are already red dots here that, guess what? In case you forgot, they're arachnine nests. And look at that, that's actually a Brood Warrior. Except we blew them all up. So Brood Warriors, remember, are those really big Rachni that we saw in the tunnels. Or in the mine shaft, I think it technically was, in the previous planet. Also, interesting how, because we can see the red dots, we kind of know which, or at least pretty good sense as to which one of these nests the Rachni are going to pop out of. Like, I started going up to this middle one and nothing came out. There are no red dots here. If we go to this one, though, it does seem like there might be some red dots in either this one or the next one. That there are. Ooh, I was a little too quick. A little too quick on that one, and that still hit. Excuse me, little Rachni soldier. Please go down. Thank you. Okay, so looks like there's two more. It's either this one or maybe... I think it's going to be this one. Has some Rachni in it. That it does. Okay, be a little more patient here. Then blow them up. And we leveled up, in fact. I think those Brood Warriors are worth a lot of experience. And that, I think, was just a sound effect from the Rachni being wiped from this plane of existence. But you can never be too sure about those things. This looks like the last spot. Hello and welcome. I missed the big one. It is unfortunate, because it was, of course, the important one. But down it goes. Oh, you're still here. Definitely miss you, then. Okay, so we did get hit a few times, and, of course, same with characters. Mako also, when it gets hit by Rachni, takes damage straight to its health rather than its shield, so it's not great, but I think we'll hopefully still be okay here. Let's see with our level, though. For us, we've been, at this stage, I think, trying to work on getting all the way up to Master Unity if we can. That'd be great. This next level, though, it just means a little bit more life, a little bit more accuracy, and a little bit more damage and duration of powers. Let's see, so we're on 457. Oh man, 2 more HPs, you never know. You never know when that 2 HP is going to matter. And, I mean, similar story for Rex and Ashley as of late. We've been focusing on the life and life regeneration. In this case, it's 2% HP and 0.5 life regeneration, so more significant in that sense. So it's 8 for Ashley, and it is... Oh, we already have that? Oh no, did I just not even see the health go? Oh, that's because it doesn't give health. It just gives health regeneration for Rex. That explains that then. Okay, no worries, but either way, both characters now considerably harder to take down, or at least a reasonable amount harder to take down, considering how those Rachni in particular will eat through, or completely ignore, I should say, those shields. So having a larger health pool, and getting that health pool to get back up to full more quickly is quite significant against the Rachni. So here's our bottom corner. That means if we start moving inward, I think we'll start to get somewhat close to the one spot that we know we are looking for. Just make sure we're still close enough that we see the edge of the map. But I think we're good in that sense. Also, one second, let's double check. Not that, this. We are level 48. We are getting up there at this stage. So in the original Mass Effect, there was a level cap on your first playthrough at 50. So we would be very rapidly approaching that. And then, oh. Okay, way up there. I see the red dots. I see the exclamation point on the edge of our map. But that's it's a pretty steep mountain there. Not so keen on trying to climb that. Hopefully they're off to the side of it. But yeah, there was a level 50 level cap on the original Mass Effect release. And then if you beat the game, then on your second and third and subsequent playthroughs, you would then be able to go up to level 60. Although, in fact, you would be allowed to play again on a new campaign with the same character, starting at level 50. And then, so building from there, try to get to level 60. Although I don't even think a full playthrough gives you enough experience from level 50 to level 60 to reach that level cap. I think you technically need to play 3 full playthroughs on the same character in order to reach that threshold, unless there are technically a few workarounds. But we'll have to see. I don't recall whether that has changed at all with Legendary Edition. Now, these look like more nests, and by extension, probably more Arachni. Which probably shouldn't come as a surprise. What about this one? And this is a place where, again with the original Mass Effect release, you had an experience penalty for killing things in the Mako. So you would ideally want to fight all these Arachni on foot. Which, if you're asking yourself, well, Lids, it seems like these Arachni are just a piece of cake. No problem at all here. Just fire one Mako cannon, and they all go down, except we missed this several of them over here, apparently. But to that I say, yeah, the reason why it's much easier, if I could actually hit a Arachni, a stationary Arachni, is because there's no experience penalty in Legendary Edition for fighting the Mako, so we are free to just roll on up and basically do a drive-by. Like so. Oh. Excuse me. Rude. They actually hit us. Extremely rude. Never mind the fact that we are invading their home. Look, this wasn't their home to begin with, okay? They probably got moved here. There is a question mark over there that we did not previously know about, so we'll definitely want to check that out. And I mean, oftentimes we'll try to do the sort of main objective last, but I think we might need to make an exception on this occasion just because we know nothing about this map. I mean, sure, we could still just continue doing a loop around and then check out the middle and then finish by going back here. I suppose that's not out of the question, but I think we probably still do try to, well, do we? I'm intrigued, actually. Come to think of it. I want to see what this question mark is. Maybe we will double back, take out those additional Arachni. Or, well, check out what is in that research facility or whatever that base might be. And, given the guests we had outside, I'd imagine more Arachni. So that's the Arachni song. We were noting it, on a previous planet before, but that is, it's quite loud on that occasion. Alright, so this is just, oh, an Asari capsule. What if we'll get some, Matriarch's writings here? That we do. This downed satellite had one of Matriarch Delminaga's writings stored in its payload. Whether it was placed before or after it crashed is uncertain. This Matriarch certainly gets around. I mean, I suppose Matriarchs do have, what, like 1,000-year lifespans, or perhaps even... Alright, this is legitimately freaking me out now. It's like the first time the low, rumbly ones, that's one thing. Then you get the high-pitched ones coming out of nowhere. That one was startling. That one actually gave me chills. But anyways, let's head down to this corner. We'll do our loop. We'll do our usual course of action after all. Yeah, those Arachni. They're getting in our heads. They're winning the mind games, and we can't let them do that. That's how they win. Yeah, these are ridiculously tall. These mountains, or I'm not even sure what you want to call them. They're almost like pillars. Fortunately, it does not appear as though we had anything on any of them, thus far at least. Ooh. Although, where exactly are these minerals? That we shall see. Make it over this? Come on, just a little bit more? Yeah. Okay. I think it's further in this direction. I don't think we need to be too concerned about the elevation after all. Fingers crossed. Yeah. It's gold. It is gold. One moment, please.
En route.
Don't mind if I do. Huzzah. We will take it. I thought heavy metals might have even been the one that we still needed. Just double check here. I mean, not that it's a... Oh, hold on. Where are you? Did we just finish it? Are we done with it? Hold on. I was gonna say, not that it's a huge deal, because we're just gonna continue to pick up any resources that we happen to find along the way as we're exploring places, but we might have finished it. Yes, UNC survey is complete. You have discovered enough valuable minerals and elements to help the Alliance plan and maintain their future operations. And that was it. That was the final one. As you see there, heavy metals, we are now 20 out of 20, and we just got a heavy metal, so that is what did it. That gold right there, and that's fitting. That's fitting that we finish on gold. But as I've said previously, there are more resources than you need to finish this mission. As you can see, we have 24 out of 20 light metals, so 27 out of 20 rare metals, 8 out of 6 gases. So, technically speaking, you could skip a few, but just by being pretty thorough in our exploration, we've found enough to finish this, and we'll likely still find a few more as we're going around uncharted worlds and exploring galaxies and scanning planets that way. And they do still give us, even after finishing the mission, more credits, more experience. So it is still useful, but there is particular significance when it comes to finishing that mission altogether. There is sort of an important threshold. I mean, it's not game-changing. I won't lie to you, it's not game-changing, but there is some long-term benefit to having done that. And just to test that hypothesis, although I'm fairly certain of it, that you still get experience and credits even after having finished the mission, we'll now scan this samarium. Far less interesting than the gold, right? Glad that we did the gold to finish things off. That just feels much more festive. Okay, so we get the rare elements, and there you see, yep, still over 200 experience, still like 36,000 credits, something along those lines. So, still the same rewards. I don't think it's any different either than what we would have gotten previously. Although the amount of credits and the amount of experience does scale a little bit with your level, so technically speaking, it does go up over time, as everything else does in that way. So your level is basically a multiplier for those things. But they have done what we need to do on that front, and any other resources that we collect at this point are pretty much just gravy. Alright, so we're back in the northern section. Just trying to recall where exactly we were when we landed. I think it was right there where we started, more or less. So let's go a little bit further here, although not so keen on trying to get through that. What if we maybe go a little bit further south first? Don't make this any more difficult than it has to be. So I think this flat plain here, I'm pretty sure is where we first spawned in. So now what we should do is like basically right here, let's make sure that we see what the deal is in the middle. And there's actually a pretty large, seemingly flat area in this middle ground here. I mean, we've sort of done a little bit around here when we went for that pod, and of course we went in a little bit for those deposits as well, so not sure how much exactly we're going to need to, we should make a marker. But yeah, not sure how much exploration we truthfully have remaining, but at least to give us a general rule of thumb. That's sort of like, it's more or less right in the middle. I did a little bit off to the side, that marker. So we'll go straight for it. We'll do some loops here. This looks very flat, as expected. And so, does kind of give Thresher Maw vibes for that reason. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say it. That's one of the words. But, I don't know. For some reason, at least for this planet, now I'm going to jinx it, I'm sure, but I don't think we're going to run into any. I think it's all out Rachni, but I could be wrong. And there is the resources. There are the resources that we found previously, and yeah, that's the edge of the map. So that's kind of what I mean, is we've gone a little bit inward. So it's not like there's actually a ridiculous amount of ground to cover here. Just make sure, now that we're kind of going past this, that... Yeah, so we've got this listening post here. I think we still want to do sort of like our inner circle. Maybe we start looping around now. I'm not sure if we're going to find anything else at this stage. That was, what, the question mark that we saw, so we've been not so far away from this. Yeah, given how we found some resources, we found those random Rachni nests, yeah, so we've seen that X there. We found a decent number of things on the planet now, so we might have gotten everything else here at this stage. Assuming we should loop back up at this point. Kinda, sorta. Don't know if we really need to go in there through this little gap. I'm guessing is this. So I don't see the edge of the map at all yet. Does perhaps mean that we went here, right? This was the one that had the enemies on our minimap as we approached, so we knew that they were going to be here. I think so. Yeah. It's obviously there would be Rachni there initially. Those are Rachni nests. So I think in that case, it could be pretty good to head into the main mission at this point. Let's actually mark that in that case. Oh, okay. We can more or less go directly to it. And yeah, given how there were Rachni outside, I imagine we will also find Rachni inside. But that does remain to be seen. We did plan accordingly, though. So in some ways, I would like for it to be Rachni. Alright, so our entrance is... where exactly? I believe it is on top of that Rachni nest. It is the last spot that we looked.
Moving out.
For a second there, it looked like this base was floating above ground. It's like... it didn't look like it was... yeah. Is it just me? Or is it like not... oh dear. How we can also phase through it. Something's just not quite right about this base. And I'm not sure what it is. Can't quite put my finger on it. Actually, come to think of it, I can put my finger on it. My finger is maybe the only thing I can put onto it, because everything else just seems to sink in. Anyways, let's save before we jump in. I don't think we've saved on this planet yet. Then, let's see what it's all about. Okay, so let's take a look at our map here and see what the interior of this place looks like. It does seem to be our standard science station map, where we'll have this little room at the beginning, opening up into a much larger room, and then, assuming that we can actually get through a doorway here, a small branching hallway that leads us into two separate rooms, and this is our spot that has the exclamation point on it, so I have to imagine we will be able to get through here. So that's a target. Like I said, I expect Rachni, although I suppose there's a non-zero chance there could be something else accompanying Rachni. I would be surprised if we saw no Rachni. Okay, so with that in mind, actually, out of curiosity, do we still have... yes, Ashley. Ashley is using her shotgun at the moment, the one that will basically instantly explode. So that'll be interesting. That may become a bit of a handicap. But it's... that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Nor does that. Ooh. Hardened weapon locker. Art decryption, you say. Challenge accepted. Let's wait for the moment. wait for the moment. Your moment will come. Your moment will not come. Your moment will never come, in fact. Ah! Hold on. Hold on. It is our time to shine. It will eventually, one day, perhaps, maybe, possibly become our time to shine. Except not now. Look at that. Actually going side to side. What is this nonsense? Another high explosives rounds. Yes. I mean, yet to establish how useful those actually are. Because they are a little bit memey, but we got more of them. In addition to something else there that was looking pretty good. It might have been another one of these Sokolovs, which is a really good shotgun. So that's a decent pickup as well. I saw a few things that were level 8, but I got a little distracted by the high explosive rounds. Alright, round 2 here. Yeah, no thank you. I want to exclusively just move this straight in and not actually have to do any hard work or thinking about having to move it side to side. That is against the rules. I just pick my spot and that's all I do. None of this silly stuff. Just go straight in, right? Okay, so that's not a great shotgun. That shotgun's okay, and then Infernal Rounds, I think we have a few of those. Let me double check what the deal is with them, because they might be a little bit different. I think that name is, although it sounds very similar to things we've had before, I think it might be slightly different. Is it? Damage over time and reduced accuracy. Is that the same as our lower level versions of Incendiary Rounds? Incendiary Rounds consist of a thermite paste which clings to and burns through nearly any known substance. Right, it's damage over time and reduced accuracy. Is there anything really different about this? Incredibly powerful incendiary rounds that can melt or burn through virtually all known substances. This damages enemies and weakens their accuracy. I think it's just better numbers. Okay. So it's not a stylistic difference in the way that the explosive rounds are, and that they're sort of like their own totally different category where they have ridiculous weapons force, AoE, and then huge downside of the weapons overheating more quickly. So we might need to keep an eye on Ashley for that reason. Like, she should automatically swap over to a different weapon when her weapon does overheat, but we might just need to deliberately have her never use her shotgun if it is actually unbearable. But we see enemies now. And that looks like a lot of them. Like, a whole lot of them. Excuse me? Rex? Here to join us? He saw the bodies outside and he was a little spooked. You know, Rex, he can be a little shy sometimes. Alright, here goes nothing.
Take them out.
Here to explain what them is. Oh, here we go. Yeah, when we saw this many of them, you had to wonder if that meant Rachni workers. There is an explosive container there. If we could time it well, we could blow up a bunch of them, and I think we did get a fair number. Oh, but there's one right here. It's about to cause problems. I think we previously did, what was it? Oh, we had Liara with Singularity, I think, which was really useful. Basically just threw it down and it killed everyone that tried to walk past. We're basically just going to need to shoot all of them. There's still at least one that's close. At least 4 remaining, it looks like. One coming up on the left. Yep. Oh, it's a speedy one. Speedy little bugger. You are down. That is not the same type of Rachni. Definitely not. Okay. Let's see. You want to... Oh. I was going to ask if we want to move in for that one. Also, I believe that was an explosives round that Ashley just shot directly in front of her and just into that cover. So if you're wondering what it is like, there's your answer. But yeah, I think we may just have soldiers remaining. It's just a matter of which one do we try to go for here. This one, we've probably gotten its attention. And by that, I mean we have definitely gotten its attention. Remember, when we stasis them, there are still these guys. When we stasis them, our friends will not attack those enemies at all. It's like they cease to acknowledge that they exist. We kind of need to finish this one in stasis. That one appears to be dead. Okay. Not sure I'm seeing any red dots here, but be a little cautious, because there definitely could be
Area secured.
little workers hiding in a corner somewhere.